You are lying in bed right now, physically paralyzed by fatigue, yet your mind is sprinting a marathon you didn't sign up for. Tired but wired, paralyzed, yet racing. Your body screams rest. Your mind resists. You reach for your phone. Scroll endlessly, seeking calm, finding anxiety. Your worth tied to wakefulness. Lies. You're exhausted, mentally hyper. Contradiction. Internal war. Fatigue wins battles. Anxiety wins wars. You're a high-capacity person. Productivity is purpose. Stop moving, collapse. That's the fear. Constant motion. False sense of control. You're trapped, tired, wired, awake, aware of the lie. Your mind is a maze. No escape. You're searching for a way out from the cycle of exhaustion and anxiety. But it's hard to stop when you're wired to keep going, no matter what. What is the actual cost of stealing just 1 hour of rest from your future self? You know, deep down, that the relentless drive to keep going, no matter what, is a double-edged sword. It's the fire that fuels your passions, but also the flame that slowly consumes your sanity. I sense that you're aware of the statistic, but let me remind you, 17 to 19 hours without sleep is equivalent to a blood alcohol level of 0.05%. You're not just tired, you're impaired. And yet, you push on, because you feel that's what's expected of you. But here's the truth. Your brain cannot process emotions or trauma without REM sleep. It's as if you're trying to have a profound, soul-level conversation with yourself, but the words are jumbled, the thoughts are fragmented, and the emotions are raw. You're treating your body like a machine, expecting it to produce soul-level work, but neglecting the very thing that makes you human: your need for rest, for rejuvenation, for REM sleep. I see that you're struggling to reconcile this contradiction, to find a balance between your drive and your well-being. You feel like you're losing yourself in the process, like you're sacrificing your own needs on the altar of productivity. But I want you to know that you're not alone in this struggle. You're not alone in feeling like you're drowning in a sea of expectations, like you're barely keeping your head above water. And I want you to know that it's okay to stop, to breathe, to rest. It's okay to prioritize your own needs, to listen to your own voice, to honor your own humanity. King Saul stands trembling in the darkness of Endor, desperate for a word that God has refused to give. The air is thick with the stench of decay and death, the smell of rotting flesh and mold hanging heavy over the desolate landscape. He can hear the distant howling of wolves, their haunting cries echoing through the night air as he paces back and forth, his footsteps quiet on the dusty ground. The Witch of Endor, a crone with sunken eyes and withered skin, watches him with a calculating gaze, her presence seeming to draw the very life out of the air. Saul's eyes are sunken, his face gaunt, his skin slick with sweat as he begs her to summon the spirit of Samuel, to give him some word, any word, of hope. The witch nods, her eyes glinting with a malevolent light, and begins to chant, her voice rising and falling in a maddening rhythm that seems to draw Saul in, deeper and deeper, until he is lost in a world of darkness and despair. And then, in an instant, the room is filled with a cold, eerie light, and Samuel's spirit stands before him, its presence like a knife to Saul's soul. The king's eyes widen in terror as Samuel's voice booms out, condemning him, cursing him, telling him that he will lose everything, that his kingdom will be torn from him, that he will be destroyed. Saul's mind reels, his thoughts spinning out of control, as he realizes that he has crossed a line, that he has gone too far, and that there is no going back. The darkness closes in around him, a suffocating shroud that threatens to consume him whole, and he knows that he is doomed, that he has made a disastrous decision, one that will haunt him for the rest of his days. This isn't just ancient history, it is a perfect reflection of your own anxious neurology. You see, the human mind has an inherent desire to control outcomes, to dictate the course of events, and this need for control can often manifest as a God complex. You, like many others, may be trying to exert control over every aspect of your life, including the uncontrollable, and this can lead to a state of hypervigilance, where you're constantly on the lookout for potential threats or dangers. This hypervigilance can, in turn, fuel anxiety, making it difficult for you to relax, to let go, and to trust that everything will work out. You may be thinking, but what if I'm not in control? What if something goes wrong? And it's this fear of the unknown, this fear of losing control, that can keep you up at night, tossing and turning, unable to shake off the feeling of impending doom. Insomnia, in this sense, is not just a biological issue, but a trust issue, a reflection of your deep-seated fear that you're not safe, that you're not protected. You're trying to stay awake, to stay in control, because the thought of surrendering to the unknown is terrifying. But I sense that you're beginning to realize that this need for control is a double-edged sword. It may provide a sense of security, but it also prevents you from truly living, from truly experiencing the beauty of life. You're caught in a vicious cycle, and you're not sure how to break free. Am I right, that you've been feeling like you're walking on eggshells, never knowing when the other shoe will drop? But what if we have completely misunderstood the spiritual nature of sleep? You've been trying to fill every waking moment with productivity, haven't you? Because deep down, you believe that sleep is a waste of time, a luxury you can't afford. Yet, I sense that you're exhausted, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually as well. You're beginning to realize that your need for control is rooted in a deeper fear, the fear of surrender. To sleep is to admit that God is God and we are not, that His providence is sufficient, even when we're not in control. You're torn between the desire to let go and the fear of what might happen if you do. But what if sleep is not a sign of weakness, but an act of faith, a declaration that you trust in His divine control, even when your eyes are closed? Psalm chapter 127 offers the antidote to our frantic striving with a simple, profound declaration. The sun beats down on the city of Jerusalem, casting a golden glow over the bustling streets as Solomon stands atop the wall, gazing out at the landscape. He sees the watchman, stationed high above the city, ever vigilant, his eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of danger. The air is thick with the smell of freshly baked bread and the sound of merchants hawking their wares, but Solomon's focus is on the promise of God, a promise that speaks directly to the heart of those who toil and labor. The promise is clear. God gives sleep to those He loves, a declaration that echoes through the streets, a reminder that rest is not a luxury, but a gift from the divine. The watchman's eyes, weary from the long night of watching, grow heavy, and he leans against the stone wall, trusting in the providence of God to keep the city safe. The city pulses with life, a vibrant tapestry of sounds, smells, and textures, and at its center, the promise of rest stands as a beacon, a reminder that productivity comes not from frantic striving, but from the blessing of God. In this moment, the distinction between work and rest blurs, and the watchman's trust in God's divine control becomes the catalyst for a deeper understanding of what it means to truly succeed. Look at the Savior in the stern of a boat, fast asleep while a storm threatens to capsize everything. The winds howl, whipping the waves into a frenzy that crashes against the wooden hull, sending sprays of icy water over the disciples huddled together in fear. The air is thick with the smell of damp earth and ozone, and the sound of creaking wood and panicked shouts fills their ears. Jesus' peaceful slumber is a stark contrast to the chaos around him, his chest rising and falling with each slow breath as the disciples' eyes dart wildly between the tempest and their sleeping master. The boat lurches violently, throwing them off balance, but Jesus doesn't flinch, his trust in the Father's divine control a palpable force that seems to anchor him to the spot. The disciples' panic is palpable, their voices raised in a desperate cry for Jesus to wake, to save them, but he sleeps on, his rest an exercise of authority, not laziness. The storm rages on, but in Jesus' sleep, there is a sense of calm, a sense of trust that speaks louder than any words, and it is this trust that underscores the true nature of his kingship. A kingship that is not about dominating the chaos, but about being untouched by it. Surrender your phone to the nightstand and declare your trust in the one who never slumbers. You're tired of feeling like you're drowning in a sea of anxiety, with the world's chaos crashing against the shores of your mind, and yet, you can't seem to look away from the screens that perpetuate this sense of overwhelm. I sense that you're struggling to reconcile the desire for control with the feeling of powerlessness that comes with the unknown. And it's this internal contradiction that's keeping you up at night. You feel like you're stuck in a cycle of restlessness, where the more you try to calm your mind, the more it seems to resist, and it's exhausting. But what if I told you that this struggle is not unique to you, that it's a universal human experience, and that the key to unlocking a deeper sense of rest lies not in avoiding the chaos, but in learning to trust in the midst of it? Tonight, as you lay your head on the pillow, I invite you to pray a prayer of relinquishment, to let go of the need to control, and to trust that the one who never slumbers is working on your behalf, even when you're not. You can view tonight's sleep as an act of worship, a declaration that you trust in the providence of God, and that you're willing to surrender your fears, your anxieties, and your doubts to the one who is able to keep you in perfect peace. As you drift off to sleep, remember that you're not just resting your body, you're resting your soul, and that the kingship of God is not just a theological concept, but a living, breathing reality that is at work in your life, even in the darkest of nights.